Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar. It's January 1st, Happy New Year, and this is part 2 of our live class. I was having some microphone issues in the last class, so I'm going to see if I can share the stream in the last class's chat box. Since I ended that class early, I probably lost most of you. Maybe some of you will find me and return. I see one person has returned. Anyway, so sorry about that, everybody. I hope you can make it back to this second class. I'm looking for a way to share this stream with you, but I guess I can't. Yes, what happened, Tashi, was I turned off the microphone I had been using because it was giving people a lot of noise and static. And then, hi, great, nice to see you. And then didn't pick up my other microphone, and I was afraid that might happen. So thank you for those of you who made it back, and I appreciate the feedback that the sound was noisy. I didn't want to keep holding that class with the bad sound. So Happy New Year, everybody. So we had a question, which I think I was saying in silence, and you didn't hear the answer. So I hope the person who asked will get this again. His question was, in words like ring and wing and studying, he was thinking that this ing ending might have more of an E sound rather than the lax I sound. And I was suggesting that it does have the I sound. So if I'm saying wing or ring, I want to go for that relaxed I sound. If I said it with an E, it would sound like wing, wing versus wing. You can hear the difference is fairly slight. You don't have to worry too much if it does get a little bit tense, because this NG sound is a high sound, and so it can pull that I vowel up a little bit. It might sound a little bit like wing, but you don't want to get too tense on the E sound. Your other word was studying, and this one is a good example because I have the study and then the y glide, and I go into the ing sound. So it sounds kind of like stu-di ying, and you should be able to hear a difference that this E is more tense and this ing in the ying, studying ying, is more relaxed. But it is a place where we do have a continuum between the E being very tense and high and the I being lax and a little lower. There is a little bit of a middle ground there. And what you really want is to make sure, depending on the context, that if you have words like leave and live, that those are really distinct from each other. But something like wing, if it's a little bit in between those two, that's not going to cause problems for your listener. Okay, welcome back to those of you who found your way back for part 2 of class. In part 1 class, in the replay, I'll link these 2 classes together so that you don't miss out. And I apologize for the sound issues I was having in the first class. Yes, okay. Thanks for reminding me, Tashi. So I did cover your words, but the sound was poor. So we're going to go back over your words horizontally and prerequisite. So horizontally has the stress on the zon syllable, and that letter O says the ah sound. So you can start with that zon sound. Then the hora is an or vowel, and this I says kind of an I or a schwa. So maybe thinking about it as an sound or an I sound, hora or horizon. Tull, we have the dark L. So we go right from the T to the L with just a little bit of a schwa in between, and then we end on the E sound. So just like I was saying earlier in class, we want to make sure we have a tense E there, like in happy, but we don't stress it. It's short and unstressed, but still tense. So horizontally. For any words that have the stress not in the first syllable, it can be helpful to start on your stress syllable. So trying zontally, and then adding the hora, horizontally. If you have trouble with that or, just do that first or, hora part by itself. And then your other word, prerequisite. I think in the dictionary you might see this as a I, like pre or pra, but it's easier to say it with an E sound because going from the pra to the re is the challenging part of this word. So again, I would suggest starting on the requisite syllable. That sounds like a K and then a W. The QU is a KW. So requisite. We have the Z sound for the letter S. Americans don't really say the T with a clear T at the end, requisite. They might say it more like requisite with a stopped T. Again, starting here with requisite, and then adding prerequisite. And then if I add, to make it plural, prerequisites, then I do say that T, and I add the S sound, prerequisites. Thank you for those requests, and sorry that my first explanation was inaudible. Yes, I see that some of you have made it back. So we started this class and I had bad sound, so I stopped and restarted. Nice to see you, Abdul Aziz. I'm doing well, thank you. Any questions from those of you who are watching now live? Feel free to ask those at any time. We will be back again on Sunday with our members only class, which is also a live question and answer class. And I'll have my word of the day class tomorrow. So each day we cover a new word in that word of the day series. And you can leave requests for words you'd like to see covered in that series at any time. Abdul Aziz is asking or saying, I've seen this word mathematics. So we do use the word math by itself. It's an abbreviation of the word mathematics. Mathematics or mathematic, and that has the black cat vowel, the TH sound. This E says schwa, so we have a little syllable there. And then another black cat. This T is like a flap, so it sounds like a D. And then we have a tense lax if vowel. So breaking it out, mathematics. Yes. Also, we just say math in American English. And in British English, they say maths. They keep that plural part. We just say math. Okay, we have a request for the words through, and thorough. And I did do a word of the day on this, so you can get more details in that class. I can put the link in the comments for you. Through and through are the same. They both have the voiceless TH sound, the R sound, and the U sound. So the challenge here is that when I'm saying through, I have to do both the TH and the R. And for many people, they're either going to have an issue with the TH becoming a T or the R getting rolled to a R. So you'll hear the errors like through or both. So we want to avoid those errors by making sure that you have the TH in the correct tongue position with the tongue between the teeth. And then the R has to be a back R. So pulling my tongue back for roo. You can actually start on the roo sound. It'll help you. And keep your tongue, the back of your tongue back and ready for the R. And then just add the light th at the beginning. So roo, through. It can be quite challenging to go from that TH to the R. So you might go slowly. Roo, through. So that you can avoid the through. You don't want that flapped front R. And then when we're looking at thorough, it looks very similar to through, but they're not the same. So we have thir. First, it's like the THR, IR in third. So we have the and the th. So here we had just the ru, the r and the th, ru, through. Here we have thur. So same thing where I'm going from that front th to the back but I have the vocalic instead of ru, I have And then, so we have first syllable stress, thur, and then we have to add the ro sound at the end. So American O, hold it long, and relax the lips. Thorough. So this was a pretty thorough explanation of how to say through, and thorough. If it wasn't thorough enough for you, you can check out my video on THR words. And I believe I did do a word of the day on thorough and thoroughly to help you with those words. Thank you for that request. Any other questions from you guys? I'd be happy to cover those. And again, this is part 2 of a 2-part class today because we lost our stream with the sound issues in the first part of the class. I'll cover a couple words that came in our requests and then give you a little bit more time to ask questions, and then we'll wrap up for today. So we had a request for, let's see, the word, we'll take David's request first. Request for literature and infrastructure. So in literature, this is another word that is different in American English than British English. British, they're going to do more like literature, where they're not going to say this and we do more syllables. So we do literature, where this T becomes more of a flap, and this TU is actually a CH sound. So you might want to build it from the back. Chur, a chur, durature, literature. And you might find it easier to do literature, and break it down slowly. Literature. The stress is on the li syllable, and the durature are very fast and unstressed. Literature. And then your other word was infrastructure. Infrastructure. Similar pattern here with the R's and the T's, the churs. Infrastructure. We have first syllable stress, infrastructure, and then secondary stress on structure. So first you might want to just be able to work on the structure part. We have the sound, stra, and then we have the K, structure. And then this is a CH, ER again. So again, my chur at the ending, going from my ch to my struck, we don't really say that T, structure. It kind of gets released into the CH sound. In the IPA, it looks like that, which is a CH sound, and you can see that I make the T, structure, I go up to the T, and then I just release into the SH tongue position. And then this, just like the word in, this A says a schwa, infrastructure. So same vowel sounds for the U and the A. Not easy though, definitely challenging with all those R's. Again, just breaking it down syllable by syllable. Structure. And then trying to speed up is going to help you with that sound. Thank you for that request. That was a good one. So Dana's noting, how are you? Yes, okay. So she's noting that often the word R gets reduced to more of an sound. And when I'm saying, for example, if I'm stressing, how are you? How are you? Then I'm using a clear R vowel. But if I'm saying, how are you? If my stress is on you, then how are gets reduced to more how are you? How are you? So that's a normal reduction. I do the same thing with Other places where we use are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Changes more to like, what are you? The R becomes an and because this links, we have the flap sound. So how are, what are, who are, when are you going? Where are you going? The R definitely gets reduced in those with those WH questions. Thanks. That's a good observation, Dana. Abdul Aziz is asking about the word advertisement. So I just made a video for that word. It's going to come up in a word of the day very soon. And in that video, I talk about Americans saying advertisement and British people saying advertisement. I'll give you a quick preview now, and then you can watch that video in the Word of the Day series and see more details. So in American English, we stress the ties syllable, and it's a Z sound, ties. We have secondary stress on the black cat vowel. So advertisement. We pretty much do no vowel there, just a kind of a small schwa sound. Advertisement. I tend to stress the ad just as much or more than the ties, but in the dictionary you'll see main stress is on ties. Advertisement. In American English, we often just say ad or ads. British English, they stress the syllable, advertisement, and they abbreviate it as advert. Again, we'll go into the details on that in that Word of the Day class. That should be coming, I think, in about 2 weeks. So you can watch for that in the Word of the Day series. Thank you for that question. We have a number of questions I didn't get to yet. Micah wants to know about appellation. Appellation. It's one where the spelling doesn't really match the sounds very well. We have the black cat vowel. The stress is on the lay syllable, so that has the clear A vowel. This CHIAN just sounds like shun, same as like this ending, like suggestion or question. So not much vowel there, going as much as I can right from the SH to the N. Shun, really light on the vowel and unstressed. The appa has the black cat vowel for the first, just like an apple. And then this A says schwa, appellation. Tashi wants to know about the word infringement. Again, here's our reduced schwa, almost no vowel in the ment syllable. Infringe. Fringe has the stress, so that's the main vowel. It has the I vowel. And this G says the J sound. In the dictionary, it looks like that. Infringement. And then a light in. Infringement. So an infringement on my rights or a parking infringement, same pronunciation there. Thank you. That's a great word to talk about. A follow-up question on our words thorough and through and through. So thorough is not the same as throw, because throw is just one syllable. So in throw, I have, to build that one, I would go from row to throw. But in thorough, it's more like thorough, 2 syllables with first syllable stress. So thorough versus throw. This THR, if I went really slow, it might sound kind of like thorough, but I want to go really fast and have it sound like throw. So it's the same sound. It's just that we don't stretch it out into 2 syllables. I throw the ball. I need to be thorough in my explanation. So there's a sound in between the TH and the R in thorough that there isn't in throw. When you're first trying to say throw, you might end up sounding a little bit more like thorough, but you need to speed up between your TH and your R so that it goes directly between the 2. excuse me, the title of the video for the advertisement video will just be how to pronounce advertisement. And it hasn't appeared yet, so you can watch for that coming up, but it's not yet live on the channel. It's in our Word of the Day series, and I think the next open slot is in about 2 weeks for that video to come, but it's ready to go, so you can look forward to that. Hi, Isabel. She wants to know about the words fancy schmancy, gratuity, and boonies or boondocks. Really nice. So fancy schmancy is basically black cat vowel and C. So an E, tense E vowel with either an F or the shm. It's just that combination. It's like an SH sound and a M sound. So trying to get this ANSI part will help you with both. Once I can say ANSI, I can say fancy and also schmancy. Yeah, that's kind of a funny combination, but that's how we do that one. And then you also wanted to know about gratuity. That's a good one. Gratuity. This is a case where we have one T that we actually say the T. That's in the stressed syllable to. It's just like the number to, or I'm going there to, the word for also. To itty. And then this ity ending comes up in a lot of our Word of the Day classes. We just have a lax I, a flap T that sounds like a D, and a tense E. So try itty, tuity, and then the letter A says the vowel schwa in this word. So gratuity. Again, any word that starts with, that has second or third syllable stress, if you start with the stress syllable and then just add the light unstressed syllables before it, can be helpful to pronounce it easily. So trying tuity, gratuity. Good. And then your last one was boonies. So that's, again, an oo, same oo vowel as in tuity with the B. And then we just have the E and the Z sound. So boonies, kind of like the word knees with a boo. Boondocks, same thing with boon. And then the docks has the ah vowel and a KS sound. So boonies or boondocks, first syllable stress in both of those words. Yeah. Some very typical American words you had there, Isabel. Thank you. All right. So the word little, our viewer is saying he keeps forgetting how to pronounce this one. It's because it's kind of difficult. So what I suggest is that all words that have the like TTLE ending, think of it as like a DLE or a DDLE. That might be easier because what's challenging here is that I don't really say little with a T. I say it more with a flap. And then I have to go from the flap T or the D sound into my dark L. So doing the ul, dull, little might help you. Lax if sound. So little. Same pattern for settle, battle, Seattle. TTLE and DDLE both have that dull ending. So I have several videos on that and one just on little. I recommend checking that out on the channel and just practicing with it, with the word by itself, and then in some little phrases with little words, a little time. Practice it that a lot of ways that you use little, like saying a little bit, a little while, a little busy, etc. That'll help you solidify and remember that pronunciation as well as say it more easily. It's definitely a challenging word. Okay, we have a request for the word usual. I do think I have a video for this. I made a word of the day about usual and usually, so you can check that out for more help after class. This first letter U is in the dictionary, it's going to be like this: U, ju, o. An unusual word, really, and kind of difficult, but one that we need. It's a pretty practical and helpful word. So thinking about the first part of the word being the stress, being like the word you, we have that glide before the u vowel, you, and then this letter S says the zh sound, which I like thinking of that as though it were a ZH sound, just because we have the SH sound, like should or show. The zh sound is just an SH with my voice on. So I can try shull and then turn your voice on, zhull, zhull. Again, there's our dark L, same one that's in the word little. We have kind of a schwa, the back of the tongue stays down and the front of the tongue lifts for the L. So trying usual. So you can do usual. We also sometimes shorten this word to more like usual, where this oo is a little bit dropped out and we might go right to the zhol part, usual. It is 3 syllables, usual, and that's easier, so you may want to start with that. Don't worry as much about reducing that. When we do usually, that's where we get rid of that U sound usually. We usually just go right to zhol and add the E, usually. Again, I do have a more extensive video explaining usual and usually that you might find helpful. Question about, is tardy a common word in America? No, that's more typical, I think, of British English because they refer to people as being a tart, and we don't really have that word. People will probably recognize what it means, but it's not very commonly used. So Abdulaziz is saying when he said advertisement with American accent, his British teacher said it was wrong. Yeah, so of course there's different pronunciation. If you're speaking British English, a British person is going to think that the way they do it is correct. There's just multiple ways of pronouncing English. And depending on, I think there's nothing better or wrong with any of the ways, but you want to be somewhat consistent. If you're speaking primarily with American pronunciation, then you want to know what that is. Or if you're speaking primarily with British, you just want to try to be consistent so you're not jumping back and forth, and it might be harder for your listeners to understand if your accent is inconsistent. But there's, British is not wrong. American English is not wrong. They're just different dialects of the same language. Same with other dialects of English. There's many Englishes spoken around the world. I teach American English because that's my native language. And I try to let you know about when I know about alternate pronunciations, because often other varieties of English are taught elsewhere. British English is typically taught in India, Africa, Europe. So what you're hearing if you're watching American TV and movies, or if you're speaking with Americans, is going to be different than the pronunciations you hear in other dialects of English. Great. Another question from Micah. He's asking if one and one are the same. And yes, they are. They both have the W sound, the schwa sound, and the N sound. So there's just no W written in the word one, but it still has that sound. They both have the vowel, one. I do have some videos about other homophones like one and one, words that have different pronunciation, but the same pronunciation, but different spelling and different meaning. All right, we have a question about the dark L, how to get it right. Work on it. It's challenging. So what I usually suggest is that you work on thinking about the schwa sound before the L. So when I'm saying something like feel, what I'm doing is most of the L sound comes from the back of my tongue being more in this position. I don't want my whole tongue to lift. That would sound like feel. It would sound too much like a light L. So I start with and then I just lift the front of the tongue, leaving the back of the tongue down. Feel, that presence of that sound makes a big difference in that dark L. I have a video talking about the dark L specifically, and several videos with words with dark L that walk you through how to get that. You can also see that if you go to speechmodificationcom. I have some lessons about the dark L. I'll show you that. If you're here on the website and you go to the free practice, you can click on online practice free trial, and then you just use the search box here. You could type in, maybe just even type in L, and you'll see the lessons that have to do with L. So here's one about American L. You can check that out. And it has the video with light L and dark L that has some images to show you what's happening. It has some word examples and links to a lot of other videos. So that's speechmodification.com, free practice materials. You can find help for a lot of different sounds on there, specific words, breaking down these patterns. Some of these R, L, TH sounds are really difficult, and having those visuals that show you what your tongue should be doing can help for some people. So hopefully that helps for you. I'm glad you've learned to pronounce some words. Thank you for your support, everyone. I need to be wrapping up shortly, so I'll take a couple more questions, and then I have some clients I need to work with, so I'll be ending for today. We have a question about when the A becomes before an R, it sounds more like an eh sound. For arrow, for example. Yes. So actually, I don't consider the word arrow. I don't think of this as being an A sound. I think of it as being an air. So when we have the AR, the air diphthong, we basically have an A and an together. So it is that tense sound rather than that lax A sound. We don't really have words that have A plus R, air. We just have air and R. That's the R diphthong. Good question. Thank you. All right. So question, it seems it's impossible to know how to pronounce an English word just seeing the spelling. Are you right? Yes, you are definitely right. Some words are straightforward, and there are some rules for spelling, some things that are fairly consistent. I would say, again, here on the website, if you look up spelling, you can see some lessons where I talk about what kind of spelling words you can count on. I recommend this Simple Rules for American Spelling video. So, for example, that black cat vowel that we were talking about, yeah, about 90% of the time, if it's in a stressed syllable, you see the letter A, it's going to be that black cat vowel. So it's not completely random, but then there's just many, many exceptions, especially when it comes to vowel sounds. Another really great resource for understanding spelling and sounds, first of all, I have a number of classes where I've covered it, but you can also go to the store page on speechmodification.com and go here to the Sounds of English quick reference guide, where I show you examples of all the sounds, how they're typically spelled, and some sample words. And then this one, the Vowels of English, is even better, where it shows you the ones that follow the rules, and then the common words that don't follow the rules, what the exceptions are for spelling. So don't be frustrated. Learn to use online dictionaries and to read the symbols and learn what the sounds are. But yeah, English is pretty tough. That's, I think, why many people ask about the words they're asking about, because the spelling looks one way and the sounds are another way. Great. So thank you so much. Hi, welcome from Turkey. And our last word for today will be the word iron from Isabel. So iron is one that, again, doesn't really look like the spelling. We have the I diphthong, and that's where our stress is. And then it looks like it should be I run, right? Iron, but it's I earn. So if you take the word earn, like earn money, and you add I, like I earn money for my work, Then iron, that's how we say this. And then ironing, if I'm ironing a shirt, ironing. It's tough because I have to go from the I to the gliding from vowel to vowel. Okay, thanks so much for sticking with me through having to stop the first class and start a second live broadcast, but it looks like many of you made it back and some of you joined. The first part, I think, had kind of poor sound quality, so you can check that out on the channel page if you missed the first part of class. And if the sound's terrible, just ignore it. We can jump right to the second class. Thanks so much for all of the great questions today, and I hope everyone has I hope your 2020 is off to a really good start. I look forward to seeing you again next week on Friday. We'll meet at the same time with our live question and answer class. And I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or you can join as a member, and then you can come to our live classes on Sunday as well, where we have a smaller group. The Sunday classes, you can ask your questions at any time during the week, and I'll cover them on Sunday, even if you can't attend live. So that's a special perk for channel members. If you want to know more about membership, click the join button and you can see those membership options. We also have some online classes and other free perks for our members. Thanks for all of the great suggestions for the Word of the Day series. I'll be back again tomorrow with another Word of the Day class. And if you have a request, leave it in the comments. I'll make sure to cover your your word in an upcoming video. Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year, and look forward to seeing you again soon. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, guys. Thank you.